In today's episode, my computer is not working, or so you think, user. People do what they are inspected to do. Yes, loud screeching sounds probably indicate a problem. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My computer is not working, or so you think, user. In my company, I am a software developer/software engineer. This depends on who is calling me, in a team of two. Because I am the software developer, of course I am the only guy in the company who knows anything about computers, so I also have to solve all the IT problems. One day my manager came to told me that a newly hired in the company will arrive the next day. As always, we know that someone will arrive only the day before. It would be too easy otherwise. Thank you, HR. I took a computer in my old computer stash. Due to the microchip shortage and the will of the company to spend money on new hardware, the best computers I have are 5 years old laptops, and set it up so everything will be ready for the new guy coming. The day after, I was working on a complex problem in one of our software, and the new hired came, interrupting me in the middle of a 1-hour reflection about the software bug and told me my computer isn't working. I was quite surprised because I tested the computer the day before, so I had to stand up from my chair and walk to his desk. It is too hard for the users to bring the laptop with them when they have an issue. I arrived at his desk and saw the computer, with the Ethernet cable, mouse, keyboard, and display plugged in. Quite surprisingly, the Ethernet lights were blinking and the display showing the Windows logging screen. And here is what happened. F222. Well, it looks like your computer is working. Can you log in? User: no, it's not working. F222. Can you try to log into the computer? User starts to type its login information. F222 turns my head away so I won't see the password he is typing. User: you see, it is not working. F222 turns my head back at the screen and see the invalid password message. Well, it seems there is an issue with your password. Are you sure you typed in the right password? User: yes, but the computer is not working, and when I type the password, the blinking thingy goes back and forth. F222 thinks about what a blinking thingy can be. It was the text cursor. Looks at the computer's keyboard and presses the number lock key. Can you try again to type your password? User types his password. Oh, it is working now. F222 points at the numlock light. When you try to enter your password, or a number from your computer, please ensure that light is on. If it is not, press the numlock key and everything should work. And this is how I was cut in the middle of a complex bug solving just because a user did not press the numlock key on his keyboard. Please, users, if you have an issue, describe it instead of saying my computer is not working. And also, please try to think 2 seconds about your issue before going to IT. People do what they are inspected to do. I was working as an independent contractor for a big bank. Someone got the brilliant idea that it would be better to outsource all of IT to a big tech company. Everyone was guaranteed a job with big tech for 1 year. However, they lost all of the perks of being an employee of big bank. No more annual bonus, generous 401k match, heavily subsidized health insurance, etc., etc. They also knew that their days were numbered. Big tech had a well-earned reputation for moving jobs offshore, or replacing long-serving, old employees with younger, cheaper ones. The people who had been outsourced had no love for the big bank. Big bank moved some of their people into a new office area, and we set them up with access to the mainframe. About a week after they were in place, I got a problem ticket. The user reported that every hour, on the hour, all the terminals in their new area just stopped. After 30 seconds, everything resumed. I investigated and found that when the communications line was set up, someone misconfigured it. The box at their end was gathering diagnostic data. Every hour it would report this upstream and wait for a reply. Unfortunately, the box at the other end was not configured to accept this data, so it never sent the acknowledgement. After 30 seconds, the remote box gave up waiting and went back to work. The fix was simple. I just shut off the data collection feature, but to implement it I would have to turn the box off and on. Of course, that would knock everyone in the area offline. Prior to the outsourcing, if this had happened, I would have called the user, told her what the problem was, and arranged a convenient time to walk over, unplug the box, wait a minute, and plug it back in. But one of the features of this outsourcing contract was a stack of SLAs, service level agreements. Among them were acceptable levels of response time and availability. Failure to meet the response time and availability levels would result in financial penalties to big tech and, more importantly, a black mark on my manager's record. Not good if he expected to keep his job with big tech. So I took the problem to him. He saw that even with this regular 30-second hang, we were still meeting the response time objectives. But knocking all those users offline would be reported as an outage. He told me to do nothing now, but add a task to recycle that remote box to the list of items for the next regular maintenance outage. I closed the problem ticket with a comment that the problem would be fixed in about 6 months. I got a gold star for closing the problem so quickly, no financial penalty for big tech. No black mark for my boss. Everyone was happy. Except, of course, those users who had to endure this lousy service. Yes, loud screeching sounds probably indicate a problem. In my very first tech support job, I was mostly a gopher for a couple of senior CE/FE guy at a computer company back in the 80s. We shared office space with a company that manufactured peripherals for us, and they had some fairly old mainframe systems, some we had to support and some we didn't. One system had 2 old 80 megabits, no, that's not a typo, disk drives, each one the size of a shopping cart. These were interesting in that the covers for the bay that held the removable disk pack were clear plastic. So you could watch the platters spinning around and the head assembly moving in and out. One Saturday I was at home and my phone rings, only landlines in those days. It's one of the programmers and he's at the office. He's shouting to me over the phone since there's a terrible screeching sound in the background. He tells me he's in the computer room and one of the disk drives is making the sound I'm hearing. He wants to know if he should shut it off. I've only worked for the company a couple of months and don't really know that much these disk drives, but I know enough to know that this sound indicates a major problem. So I tell him, sure, turn it off. He puts the phone down to walk over the machine and I listen to the screeching. Then I hear the sound slowly wind down and stop. Guy comes back to the phone and says something like, I guess that was it. I agree and figure we'll look at it on Monday. Monday I come in and head to the computer room. A couple of other folks are there also. We all peer through the clear plastic cover. There are fragments of disk heads and filings from the platters piled up in the drive. Of course, what is supposed to happen is if there's a failure, the disk assembly is supposed to unload the heads by fully retracting, a reset to 0. Clearly this didn't happen and the disk heads got jammed into the spinning platters and torn off their arms. Customer called in the local repair guys, since this was a model of disk drive our guys didn't support, and I'm pretty sure it took a full day to repair the drive. Most amount of damage I ever saw in over 20 years in the business.